Okay, so given I am black, I am American, I am a cis woman. Now that we got that out the way, I live in Iowa where there are not many people who are black that live in town as locals. When the students leave this college town, it gets a lot less diverse. Are you following me? Anywho, one day I'm at work in Iowa, and while ringing a woman up, she has an interesting story to tell me. One that would ignite my freeze in fight, flight, or freeze. For the purpose of this story, I will call the woman customer from here on. All right, so customer says to me, she says, when I was growing up, my mother gave me a little brown doll. I replied, that was really sweet of her. Customer then goes on to say, and you know what I called it? Now, this is where I cannot fathom what is going to come out of this woman's mouth. I hadn't said a word when she blurted out, my little nigger baby. I froze. I said, that was a long time ago, and you know not to say that now. Long story short, she starts waxing poetic about all of the people of color in her life and how she has since realized that we're all really not that different. In the end, I told her there's only one race, the human race. We agreed on that. And do you know that feeling when someone wants to hug you? Yeah, she wanted to hug me, like a magnetic pull towards her that I had to physically back away from. I offered, are you a handshaker? We shook hands and I sent her on her way. My stomach drops when I think about her, much like when I see a police car. I wish that incident didn't have that much power. Not very long ago, I was crying every day. I was in mourning over the tragic deaths of black men and women by the hands of police. Since I can remember, I have always been afraid of the police. Even though when I get pulled over, I'm totally cool. I say, what happened? To the officer with a confused look and a friendly gaze. Still, the likelihood that I or my brother or nephew or niece might be killed by the police is exponentially higher just because we are indeed black people in America. I read somewhere that the purpose of art is to reconnect people with their reality. As a performer, I tend to take roles to serve the story and not the ego. It's important that slices of life are put on stage, especially black ones. I say this because historically theater has been for and by white audiences. Any theater program that does not shed a light on African American life is failing to paint a fully American picture. It was for those reasons that I had to drop from the board of a local theater. They made a statement about diversity that did not include the word black, so it was not a Black Lives Matter statement. I had told them that I would walk if they didn't support the BLM movement. They did not, so I quit. End of story. In the last few days, I was busy directing a virtual play reading. The summary of the show is that the main character travels back in time from 2017 to 1946 and back again. She finds her great grandmother and is able to see how life was for black people in Jim Crow South. In the end, it was proven that there has not been a lot that has changed between the two times. There are some new givens, like I can openly talk to, date, or even marry a white partner, whether that be male or female. Also, the opportunities for education are much higher for black people in the 2000s. Though, you know what has stayed the same? Discrimination, bigotry, police brutality, racism, white supremacy, and white privilege. Now, given everyone has some privilege. If you are alive, you are blessed. If you can walk, talk, see, taste, feel, think, and smile, you are blessed because everyone doesn't have those privileges. But even with all the privilege in the world, between every human, there are still people that do not see me as a full on human with feelings and who needs equal rights just like everyone else. That's the purpose of supporting Black lives. Acknowledging that not only is the playing field unequal, it's slanted away from me in so many ways that I both see and don't see, hear and don't hear, witness and don't witness for myself. But next time a closed person comes to me and tries to put me in a corner, I will use my words to correct them and my feet to walk away. It is true. I've been known to freeze in the past, but now I know it's possible to be in that kind of uncomfortable situation. So I have little scripts that I use to get out of those situations with my dignity intact. Dear white people, if you want to know more about Black hair, Black excellence, Black history, use your computer and the library to do some research on your own. It's not my job or any other Black person's job to bring you up to speed. We have a shared history and choices to make about truth or to stay blind. Wake up.